Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Dan-A-Plooza. Ladies and gentlemen, my guest is returning guest, artist Jack Rife.
Thank you for having me, Dan. I really appreciate you. It is wonderful to be. It's wonderful to be back. It was a lot of fun doing it the first time, and I've been looking forward to it since then.
Well, my cat is so excited she just threw the mouse right before we came on live screen. That's how excited she is.
What cats are supposed to do. They're supposed to go after the mice.
or show me up like she normally does.
Cats. Cats, they got an ego.
Yep. Well, we'll just wait for the Tilly show when she takes over when I'm not here.
Fair enough.
So, tell us about any new pins in the works.
Well, I have a couple new pins coming out, but I also have a couple of new T-shirt designs, and I'm also going to try to do some artwork with some different bands that I haven't done in the past.
Very cool.
There's a band called Tropodelic that I'm really hoping to get to work with officially, but I'm definitely going to do some designs just inspired by their work. So, but again, I am really hoping to get to do something official for them because I think my artwork really fits with their music.
It definitely does, and it's what it's all about. Just like the Who says, it's all about supporting my generation. Just
exactly.
That plug-in.
Hey, listen, I can appreciate that. This is one of my favorite shirts, as a matter of fact, because it's a pinball wizard shirt. I'm not sure if you're familiar with the.
Yep, he's a pinball wizard. I can't say
it's such.
I'll get copyrighted.
Yeah, I was gonna say they'll flag it. But what I've always enjoyed about that song is who comes up with a premise like that.
Oh, I know.
I think not only who comes up with a premise like that. But then who writes a song about it?
Oh, I know.
And then how does it become I don't know. It's been one of those songs that has always kind of intrigued me as to just how that ended up on an album, how that ended up being a song that people are like, oh, I have a shirt about it, It's just because it's not a true story.
Oh, yeah. What was really interesting the other day was I just got my Who shirt in the mail, and I was visiting my mom, and I was singing Pinball Wizard, and I'm like, he's a pinball. And then I hear in the other room, pinball. I go, wait, you like the same band that I do? I am your son.
Honestly, and when it comes to stuff like that, like I'm in my late 30s, so my kids are in their teens. My daughter's about to become an adult.
Oh, no.
And I managed to raise an adult without ever becoming one. Pretty proud of that. Whenever she listens to certain types of music and I hear her listening to it, I'm like, oh my God, I love that song. Or I'll start singing along. She'll be like, you know this song? I'll be like, kid, of course I know that song.
What we used to have is cassettes, and we put them in the car.
Sit there and listen to the radio for 6 hours waiting to hear one song.
Yeah. And if you broke the knob, then you're stuck listening to it.
Yep, we got one station.
And if you listen to 1,000 miles, you'll like it, then you'll hate it, then you'll like it again.
That's actually true. That's true. You'll grow to appreciate it. You'll learn to loathe it. You'll come to need it.
Yeah. But anybody who is interested in Jack Rife or his artwork, should they just reach out to you on the art page that I have streaming below?
Yeah, even just on my private profile, if they just send me a message, if anybody has any ideas for anything they want to work on, I'm here all the time.
So,
I like doing, cartoony style designs for people. Anybody, whether they're in the wrestling business or if you have a streaming channel or stuff like that, merchandising yourself is the easiest and best way to make it a living and not a hobby. I used to be a professional wrestler. I'll tell you this, Dan. you have to be at a very high level to make a living off of being a professional wrestler. You do not have to be at a very high level to make money off of professional wrestling if you know how to do it properly. It's not necessarily about how much you get paid for a match, or it's about how much merchandise you bring to that show that people can buy, how many different kinds of merchandise, whether it's t-shirts, pins, stickers, hats, keychains, bookmarks, whatever it is that you can put your logo and put yourself on it to brand yourself. That is 100% what you need to do. Again, whether it's professional wrestling or honestly anything that you're in the public eye, any character you've created, market it.
That explains always why I saw wrestlers with totes and bringing everything into the show.
And let's face it, they got one bag that has their wrestling gimmick, that has their wrestling gear, their boots, their tights, all that is one bag. But my merchandise should be boxes and boxes and totes and bags and enough to fill the table. And if I'm a good guy, I need to be out there at intermission talking to people and schmoozing. If I'm a bad guy, I need to have somebody else out there selling my merchandise for me so I'm not ruining my character, but still being able to sell merchandise. Because you can be a badass, you can be a bad guy and still have cool merchandise that people want.
Oh yeah, yeah. I've seen that happen many times before. I've actually my favorite's always when I go and buy merchandise from someone else's table, and then I go to buy someone's, and they're like a heel, and they're like, "Why did you go over to that table?" And that guy's like a face. You know? Why did you stop at this table first?
whenever you get the people that say, "Oh well, heels shouldn't sell merchandise, bad guys shouldn't sell whatever," I'll remind them very quickly that one of the best-selling T-shirts in the history of professional wrestling is the NWO T-shirt.
Oh yeah.
And the NWO were not good guys.
There's a reason we're taking over.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like I said, it's about branding yourself when it comes to whatever it is you're trying to do.
There's talks about Dan-A-Plooza merchandise, so we're gonna look into that as well.
That definitely needs to be a thing. Definitely down to help with that.
Okay, I have someone working on business cards, so we're gonna start there.
T-shirts are always a really good place to be. I know that I personally, I would wear the T-shirt when you're interviewing me or when I'm doing other stuff. Kind of the same way you share my pins and T-shirts and stuff. That whenever I do it, the way you share that, and when you have that kind of support structure around you, the way you have friends that are like yourself, and that reflects back onto you. I think your merchandise would do wonderful.
Yep. Someone's like, "I want your face on a mug." I go, "Okay."
my roommate is he streams on Twitch. He's the Kickin'. So it's twitch.tv/the Kickin', I think.
Okay.
And I'm just guessing, but if that works, check him out. But he's definitely someone to talk to when it comes to just merchandising yourself. Like with me, it's my artwork, before it was with the wrestling. So I had something to kind of base a platform off of. Whereas with you and with what he does, you are the product.
Oh yeah.
So that, I can definitely hook you up with him. You probably even know him. His name's Dustin Smith. He wrote the Night Hunter comics.
Okay. I know who that is. Yeah,
he would probably actually love to do one of these as well.
Okay. We could have him on there.
Yeah, he would enjoy this.
So when did you know, like, selling art, like, this is how I'm going to make a living? When did it dawn on you that this is what I need to do?
The first time somebody gave me money for something that I drew, and I kind of had that Happy Gilmore moment where he, standing there holding the money from the guy he made the bet, and he just kind of was like, "Oh, also I can do this thing I can do and make money at it." And it was honestly, my grandma was a really big part of my art and just my want to draw.
Mm-hmm.
And she would always say that I should never have to work a day in my life with the way I drew and stuff like that. And unfortunately, it wasn't until after she passed away that I actually started doing it as a living. It was actually shortly after she passed away. And I feel like it was kind of her way of helping me to realize that I could make it to where it wasn't something I had to struggle for or worry all the time about money or bills, and I could spend time with my kids and draw,
Yes.
and play golf and just enjoy, life. And so really it's once been asked what defines a successful man. Is it wealth? Is it everything he wants? And I've truly found that the moment that you select how it is you make a living, when you actually choose your job, something that you want to do to make a living, and you make a living at it, that's successful. So if anything else, making artwork, it's an up and down thing, because it is, it's not a finite job. It's not, I don't have contractors that pay me every month or things like that. So yeah, it's hit or miss sometimes. And when it's on, it's good, and when it's off, it's bad. But
Yeah.
I wouldn't trade it for the world, because like I said, I get to be what I would consider successful.
Exactly. And there comes a point in time where we all have to make those choices, like this to me is something that I like to do on the side. And, I do computer work during the day, but, just because you have to do something else for the time being doesn't mean you still can't chase other aspects or other things that make you happy in life.
Oh, absolutely not. Yeah, you definitely have to keep your passions, whether it's a hobby or a job or whatever. You have to keep your passions. Absolutely.
Yep. Don't stop
And
believing my journey.
yeah, no, never stop believing. And also, not every hobby needs to become something that you get paid for, because it was drawing and something that I've done my entire life. It would be really hard for it to be spoiled by it being what I do for a living. But if it was the new hobby that somebody picks up or something that you really enjoy, keep it something you enjoy. Not everything needs to be a side hustle. So, also important, to following your dreams and keeping your head on, where you want to be, is to also, make sure it's fun first. Everything should be fun before it's anything else. And if it's not fun before it's anything else, it better be work.
Yeah.
If it's not fun first, you better be getting paid for it.
Exactly. So, being because I knew that you were a wrestler, do you have like a certain favorite wrestler movie? Because wrestlers have always been in movies. Is there a certain wrestling movie that you enjoy?
Yeah. Ready to Rumble.
There we go.
Sal Bandini want to wrestle. It's just got so many funny, like, one-liners. I don't know. For me, it is. It's about a perfect wrestling movie without being just either ridiculous or too serious. Because The Wrestler for me was just a little too serious. And was it Nacho Libre is just a little too, slapsticky, a little too goofy.
Oh, yeah.
I love how they got through like 9/10 of that movie without Jack Blacking, and then right toward the end he just goes right into being Jack Black, and I'm like, oh, okay, there it was. It's like when you watch a Jim Carrey movie and you're like, there it is.
Yeah. The Grinch doesn't do. Oh, yes, he does. It's Jim.
Even Truman from the Truman Show. You got to wait. He's got that one Jim Carrey moment in every movie. Because, I mean, honestly, that's what they hired him for.
Exactly. Because we were just talking with a previous guest, and she's a big Jim Carrey fan, but we talked about how everybody liked him in like Ace Ventura and all his other roles. But then when Eternal Sunshine came out, people didn't like that because he wasn't the funny guy, you know.
No, because he was actually trying. He was trying to show people he was an actor,
Right.
and he is an actor. He's an amazing actor. So yeah, I do. I like that movie a lot.
It is. It's a good interpretation, and it's a good acting for him, and he plays the character very well. You know.
Oh yeah, it's a deep one.
We don't always have to be the character talking out our butt.
Oh, that's a deep one, and yeah, yep.
But what do you call it? So with the pandemic almost ending, are you gonna maybe do some shows live, like in person?
Well, I'm going to try to definitely get out and do some festivals in the spring and summer, and try to get yeah, basically just try to get stuff out there. It There was a while there last summer where if it wasn't for being able to go to shows live, it probably wouldn't have been able to carry us through, financially. And in the meantime, it's definitely been a little sluggish in places. So to get back out there in the spring and summer, I think is really going to reignite things. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward to getting out to some festivals for sure.
It's good. Do you have any in mind?
We will. I don't know that we'll be vending, but we will definitely be attending Dome Fest at Legend Valley in Ohio. That's Pigeons Playing Ping Pong's festival. And then the following weekend, we will be going to Dark Star Jubilee, which is at the same venue. And it's all Dark Star Orchestra, which is a band that very accurately honors the Grateful Dead with their music.
That's one of my favorite bands, Grateful Dead.
They play. There are a lot of Grateful Dead cover bands that cover, but Dark Star Orchestra plays full shows that are like, very specific, very detailed, full Grateful Dead shows that are just about as, I would say honestly, the closest thing you can get to seeing the Grateful Dead live in our for our generation.
Closest thing to Jerry Garcia,
Honestly, there's a guy named John Kettlestick who played with Dark Star, who I believe is going to be playing with them again, who sounds remarkably like Jerry Garcia when he sings. Yep.
Wow.
Yes, he does. He even joined the Jerry Garcia band that still plays. Yep.
Wow. Very amazing band and opportunity. So I'm looking forward to that for you.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to getting out of the house and getting to go to some festivals.
Are you like not for like the convention style? Because I know sometimes they have conventions. Is that not for you?
It would depend on what kind of merchandise I have. If I have pre-planned ahead to have more of the convention comic centric kind of stuff, then I would absolutely love to do stuff like that. It just I just got to see where everything moves. Everything just kind of points me in the right direction. I just kind of got to follow it.
Yeah, because I would think maybe this is just a suggestion, but maybe the one in Morgantown, the PopCon, West Virginia.
Yes.
PopCon.
Yes. When do they have that?
It's normally like the end of August. It's usually on a weekend, like Saturday, Sunday.
Okay. That's definitely a possibility. Definitely in the realm of possible things for sure.
Yep. Or in September. It just depends. They kept moving it, I think, because of COVID, but
right. But it's supposed to be earlier. Yeah, I got you. It's supposed to be earlier. They moved it last year. Gotcha.
Yep. So that's a good one to go to because there are lots of vendors and there are lots of people that attend it. So
definitely going to have to look into that and see if I can have some stuff ready for it.
Oh, yeah. So what did it mean to you achieving your dream of being a wrestler? What did it mean to you?
Well, it was something that I had always, from the time I was about 16 years old, that I had really wanted to do, and life kept getting in the way. Um, and I just never really did get around to it until I was probably in my mid 30s. And getting to try it and to, know that I had, the physical prowess to do it, and I was able to talk and cut the promos. It was really came down to a matter of the wrestling business is, for lack of a better word, kind of a seedy empire, and full of wonderful people for sure,
Definitely.
but also full of less than admirable people. And once you get into wrestling and you start asking yourself if this is really the kind of people that I want to be around, if this kind of stuff I really want to, expose myself to, or, just kind of life you want to live. And I just didn't. So moving on to artwork and just kind of centering around my, the artistic side of things definitely was a benefit for me in a lot of different ways, but definitely easier on my body, of course. I don't have to worry about injuring myself nearly as much when I'm drawing or playing golf. So.
And, because sometimes the wrestling life is short and you could be injured and, not be able to enjoy things in life. So I think you made the right call.
That was another big part of it is after I had started doing my artwork for a living, I had actually gone back and I was just at a show with some friends and somebody was like, hey, you should work a tag match. And I was like, yeah, I can work a tag match. That's pretty easy. And it was an easy match. Everything went well. But in the process, I had just taken a face bump and made my elbow so sore.
Oh, no.
And for probably the better part of a week, the end of my elbow was like this big.
Oh, no.
And I was like, I couldn't rest it to draw. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to be able to do that because, without my arm being able to work properly, I'm not able to draw and I'm not able to keep moving forward.
Right. So, and that's what's important, is to keep moving forward. I've always been a big wrestling fan. I've actually been involved in a match one time on the indie circuit, so that's always interesting.
That's a good one. Yeah, hey, that's one for you for your scrapbook. Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. Apparently, I think you know him. Do you know the Neon Ninja Facade?
I do. Yeah.
Okay. So this was kind of like I think it was maybe in it was not far from Bridgeport. I forget, maybe in Stonewood, but
I've wrestled a couple times in Stonewood.
He brought I don't know if you know Remy LeVay.
Yeah.
So he brought him over to do like the nuggie. I did the nuggie, and so because he was doing it for everybody. So then at some point, like Remy grabbed me or something like that. He did something where he like grabbed me, and I was like, this is different, And like I didn't know, and like he pushed me right into Facade. Like he pushed me, so I bumped into him, and then he started attacking him. And I had no idea. I was like, well, when did this get decided?
You're in it all of a sudden, right? Now you're part of the play.
Yeah, now I'm part of it. And
that's one of the beauties of professional wrestling. You can be part of the show.
They told me, they're like, yeah, I said, get the guy, that does the artwork and wears the hat, and we're going to do this and everything. So they had everything planned. And I go, the guy with the hat didn't know nothing.
Clueless.
But I think then that makes it better because then you have a reaction, like, what am I doing?
Yeah.
So, have you ever seen that before where they have involved fans? I see where Jordan Grace, where she picks up fans and body slams them on her opponents.
Yeah, I've seen more people, but it's usually talked through.
Okay.
There's usually at least, hey, I'm gonna do something to you during the show, so be ready. It's very rarely, because if it is random, then other people feel like they can jump in.
Right.
Whereas if that person is selected, it's just kind of a mass consciousness that's, we're able to suspend our disbelief because we're at a wrestling show, but we kind of know that person was picked. You know what I mean? We kind of know Braun Strowman was supposed to pick that kid to be his tag team partner. You know, why didn't he pick, any of the other kids, or, one of the Make-A-Wish kids or something? So
yeah, but I thought I'd share that story because that was the time that I was asked to be in a match without my knowing, and it came out into that. And I thought other people might jump in too, but I was like, it's okay. I'm gonna sit down now.
I'd say more than what I said earlier would be that they trusted you and they knew that you were a fan enough to not engage in a fight with one of the wrestlers. No. They knew that you were a cool enough guy. I think it was they knew they didn't have to ask you, which should be a very good compliment to you.
Okay.
Yeah, the fact that they didn't have to come over and be like, "Hey, man, we're gonna do some stuff in the show. Don't, it's not real." That to me shows that you get it, which is the best thing we can ask for, is that you get it, and that they trust you to not try to punch somebody.
Yeah, because when he looked at me, he's like, "I'll go get him." Facade, he's like, "I'll go get him." I'm like, "Yeah, you do that. I'm gonna sit here."
Man, I'm out. Yeah,
some kind of moment, but I knew to do that because of the improv background. But it was the one time where I was like, "What is going on?"
It's not very often that yes and leads to a punch. Like yes and okay. Improv didn't prepare me for drop kicks. All right.
Exactly. I go, well, I won't do anything, but if you hit me, improv told me to pick up a chair. Right?
Yeah, right. I'm gonna fight you like a lion.
I'm gonna do the Sabu and just throw it.
Yeah, right. Throw it, run the other way. No, honestly though, on a side note, improv is a great class that wrestlers should go pick up and learn how to do, because you really never know what's going to happen. And if you plan for everything and something goes awry, then you either learn to improv and think on your feet, or you end up,
yeah.
And nobody wants that. Yeah. Nobody wants just full freeze, just
yeah. And mine is always the chops too. Have you seen that, where they hold the wrestler and they want you to chop and everything like that?
Yeah.
So sometimes, because I've only been asked once or twice, and I'm like, sure, because we're always thinking we're gonna get hit, for chopping you in the chest,
right? Oh yeah. Who was the guy that was holding me? I've actually come back around and scared somebody, because of course I was a bad guy, and two people held me while up against the barricade while someone chopped me.
Yeah.
And after I went, and started beating up on the face, I came back to that area and I was like, "Who held me?" And everybody just
not me. Hope he goes away.
They were legit nervous, because I really played it off like I was really mad at whoever held my arms while they chopped me. We do have a lot of fun with the crowd with stuff like that, whether it's a good guy or a bad guy. When the crowd responds to you, it's the best feeling. That's really, anybody who's a professional wrestler will tell you, that's the most important thing, is when the crowd is. Hey, you know what? Some of the best moments in wrestling were when I was getting booed.
Oh yeah.
Because the crowd cared enough to loudly boo me.
Yeah, and I know sometimes I would cheer go get the table, and the wrestler would get the table, then he'd fall through the table and he'd look at me and I go, I don't know what I'm doing.
Me, man,
this is why I'm sitting behind the guardrail, because I don't know.
Just take a bite, just look at him and take a bite of your pizza, I don't know. I'm just sitting here eating pizza, man. Don't get the table. I don't know.
Yeah. I thought you were going to move
Think
faster.
for yourself, bro.
Yeah, I thought you were going to move faster, but you showboated, and look.
What happens?
Well, anything to say or do or promote on Dan-A-Plooza before we wrap it up?
Yeah, it's, if anybody wants to join my group, if you're watching, it's Jack Rife Designs. There's a private group, there's a public group, there's also, I have Rife Racing Sim Studios. We do a weekly sim drifting event. I have a I think that should maybe, no, I don't know if I can turn the camera on. Anyway, I have a driving simulator.
Oh, very cool.
And we do driving events every Monday. That is on my racing channel. There's t-shirts, pins, stickers, all that is available on my group. Thank you for not making me eat hot wings.
All right. Everyone, thank you for watching Dan-A-Plooza. We'll be back in about close to 30 minutes with guest aerial artist Coco La Foos will be here. So everyone stay tuned and watch that, and have a good night.